Yo, what is good, YouTube? In today's video, got y'all a new top 5 meta loadouts you guys should be using. So if you enjoyed the video, let's break 200 likes, subscribe, notifications turned on, and let's get into it. All right, so for our first gun here today, we're going to be taking a look at the Krig C. There is a couple different ways you can run it. It's like the #1 AR in the game right now. So I'll show you guys those couple different ways and the way that I'm personally enjoying it at the moment on Rebirth Island. So first thing, we'll go over the general build, and then I'll kind of switch up a couple attachments. So we're going to go for an optic here, and you can kind of go for a red dot of choice, basically like the Merlin Mini. This is a really solid one. You can also go down here and use the Volziski Reflex. This is kind of like my preference, but I'm going to go ahead and run on it. If I'm going to run an optic, I will be running this or the Merlin Mini, so go ahead and do that. This I don't really think is much of a gun where I'm going to be going for, you know, like a 2 and 3 times, but you definitely still can. I just probably would say to go for probably the Volziski Reflex or Merlin Mini or even the Kepler red dot, basically a red dot of choice. Muzzle section, we're gonna go through on the compensator here. Helps your overall vertical recoil. This gun does have a little bit of kick to it, so I mean, you definitely can have something. If you're trying to use this over range, it does make sense to have a compensator. Largely, you can still get away with even running a mono suppressor if you really want to, but the compensator is the more like meta thing to run. Barrel section, we're gonna throw on the gain twist barrel just because this increased our bullet velocity quite substantially. I had to click on it there, but brings you out to 1162 meters a second, which is where you want to be. You don't really want to be any slower than that. Of course, the reinforced barrel is cool, but it does put you sub 1,000, and obviously we want this thing to hit really hard. We want to make sure our shots are actually registering. So we have 44 meters of effective damage range. That's pretty awesome, pretty solid. Don't really got to think too much about anything else, so go ahead and run the gain twist barrel. In a rail section, we're going to throw on the vertical foregrip here. This is pretty standard for a lot of the assault rifle builds. You don't have to run anything else. And in the magazine section, we throw on extended mag 2 to get us the beautiful 70 rounds in the mag, which is quite nice. One of the higher capacity ARs that is just like, that's the extended mag 2. The Kilo's got extended mag 1, 2, and 3, which the 3 is the 80 rounds, but this is just extended mag 2, and you really don't lose a lot of, you know, pros and stuff on this thing. Like, you're not losing a lot of ADS speed, stuff like that. So that right there is going to be like your full meta build, and the other build that I'm enjoying running right now is actually going to be this right here. Put on the mono suppressor and then actually running it with iron sights and throwing on the overpressured rounds, and like you can see, the bullet velocity is absolutely wicked. Damage range is really cool and really good. So overall, I'm liking this build like quite a lot. So try out either or. Next up is going to be the Ladra SMG. I think I almost kind of prefer running this over the C9, though the C9 and the Ladra are kind of like your toss up between your 1 and 2 SMG. So if you like the C9, run the C9. If you want to run the Ladra, run the Ladra. You're not going to go wrong either which way. First thing, we're going to go for the barrel. We're going to throw on the long barrel. Got to increase the damage range. It only makes sense. 15.5 meters is where you want to be, so go ahead and slap that on there. Under barrel, you definitely want to run the Ranger foregrip. If you're running an SMG build, horizontal recoil control and sprinting movement speed, this is what you should be aiming for on, you know, an SMG. This is like your go-to under barrel attachment. Magazine, I actually do prefer right now to run extended mag 2. So I really was a big proponent of extended mag 1 there for a while, but I was like, I started trying extended mag 2, and it's been feeling really, really solid, and especially with how high of a fire rate this thing has. Yeah, 1,071 rounds per minute, which is pretty insane. So having 66 rounds in the mag is quite nice. So I'd recommend for you guys to go for extended mag 2. Rear grip, we're gonna go through on the ergonomic grip, dive to fire, slide to fire, ADS speed, and jumping aim down sight speed. All things you really want on an SMG. Really makes sense. Lastly, my go-to in the stock section is going to be the balance stock. I personally don't really want to run the infiltrator. I'm not sure what it is, but when I eclipse a certain amount of aim walking movement speed, I feel like my aim is just not as precise, as sticky. I don't like being able to move that fast. Like, it just doesn't work as well for me personally. So I enjoy getting the other benefits and still getting some of that aim walking movement speed. I don't need like maximum. I also want the other things in here too, so I can move faster in general. So that right there is going to be my full go-to build. Next up, let's take a look here at the Kilo 141. Still an absolute banger AR to run. You can run it a couple different ways, honestly. It just depends if you want to run iron sights or if you want to run with an optic. I'll show you guys both ways. So first thing, optic section, we're gonna go just throw on this Volziski Reflex. This is my go-to. I always run this. So no real reason to go for anything else. I mean, you can definitely, like I said, go for a 2 times, a 3 times. You can kind of go for whatever red dot you want. It just depends more on your play style, what you feel comfortable with. The optics section is kind of one of those categories where it's not going to be like you have to run this. It's like run what works best for you personally, and then the rest of the build is something that you should relatively follow what I'm doing. So I throw this on there, and of course I'll change it to like a blue dot. Muzzle, we're going to throw on the mono suppressor. Give us, you know, that increase in bullet velocity, damage range. Obviously, the kilo needs a little bit of help in that regard, so we're going to go ahead and do that, and it's really going to help us out. Barrel section, we can see, you know, we have 39.1 meters of effective damage range. Obviously not the greatest, but your bullet velocity is going to be pretty crazy fast. But what we're going to do is we're going to go for the reinforced barrel, because this gives us to puts us out to 1275, and it puts our effective damage range at 48.9, which is, you know, definitely really good. So we want to make sure that we're using the reinforced barrel as opposed to the gain twist. I think the reinforced barrel is just going to be better. Under barrel, vertical foregrip here as per usual. And then the magazine, of course, we go for extended mag 2. It's like it said when I was talking about the Craig, this has extended mag 3, but I just don't really think 80 rounds in this is necessary. Also, the reload speed is pretty wicked fast with a 60 round mag. So you guys should just go for this. Also, I'm a 60 round mag kind of guy. Got to throw that in there. I know I've been saying this for probably years now at this point. I don't even want to know how many years I've been saying that, but you guys just got to go for that. Lastly, I'll show you guys here kind of how to build this thing out otherwise. So if you want to run iron sights, something that's really cool to run is go over the fire mods and throw on the overpressured rounds. And I'm not sure why it's actually showing that to be a negative, but you get out to 1530 meters of bullet velocity, and that's absolutely wicked. So run it like this, run it the other way. You can even, you know, take off the muzzle and throw in a compensator if you want to, and run it like that. Kind of a few different ways to run it. Now in a number 4 slot, not like in literal number 4 slot, but overall the KSV is just a really nice SMG. It has just a very consistent TTK, damage drop off, damage profile. Like, it's very consistent, one of the most consistent ones in the game. So you're not going to have, you know, anything crazy. Like if you hit your shots, it's going to be a very like similar TTK all the time. It's not like it varies greatly based on where you hit them. So I'd recommend for you guys to go in and try this out, especially if you want something pretty low recoil, good mobility. So barrel section, long barrel here, pretty standard, pretty tried and true. Under barrel, you definitely got to go for the Ranger foregrip. I think this is just kind of the move on this thing. No reason to go for anything else. Just doesn't make sense. Magazine, we're going to go for extended mag 2. This is that gun where I will recommend extended mag 2. Extended mag 1 only gives you 40 rounds. That's not really acceptable for an SMG. We need to make sure that we have extended mag 2. I shouldn't say it's not like acceptable, but when you have the option to go for a 50 and it's not going to cause crazy downsides, it makes a lot more sense, regardless of what you're playing, solos, duos, trios, quads, to go for extended mag 2. Rear grip, we throw on the ergonomic. This is pretty standard for me, like on every SMG almost. There's some times where I go for the commando and I like to try that out every now and again, but I just really enjoy my slide to fire speed, because I'm frequently, you know, sliding around the map, jump, slide, aiming, something like that. You know, it does help me out tremendously. So that's why I always say ergonomic as opposed to the commando, as this doesn't do that. And I feel like I'm at a slight disadvantage when I use the commando sometimes. So I just enjoy the ergonomic because I'm a pretty aggressive SMG player. Like if when I have an SMG out, I am going to be, you know, all up in people's faces. I'm going to be trying to squad wipe, you know, doing that whole, you know, shebang. Lastly, in the stock section, 2 really good options in here. I know some people like to go for the no stock for the movement, right? That's crazy. I don't personally care about that. I want to be more effective overall. So I think the infiltrator is actually really good on this gun, and the balance stock works very nicely as well. So balance or infiltrator, you really can't go too wrong. It doesn't feel like it's overkill on this gun when I use it. There are some other guns, like if you throw the infiltrator on the SOG, that might feel like you're just really gliding back and forth and it's a bit too much. That's how I feel about it personally. So I think the infiltrator works fine on here. That or the balance, doesn't really matter. So go ahead and slap that on there. And if you guys want a bit of a different build here, we can even take that off, go for the underbarrel, throw on the vertical foregrip, and throw on a compensator if you want a bit more recoil control. You can even technically switch out the long barrel for a reinforced barrel if you want to try that as well. Now, last but definitely not least here in today's top 5 is the LW3A1 Frost line. You guys can see mine's only level 26, but that's really all you need it to be. I'm not a huge sniper, but this right here is a really good sniper rifle. If you guys don't want to use something like the HDR, you want a bit more mobility, and you want a great one-shot, you know, headshot range. This is going to have that mobility, fast reload, kind of any and all the above, and it will be really solid, especially for Resurgence. You can use it on Verdansk as well. It doesn't really matter. So first thing, we're keeping the standard optic. We don't need to change the scope on it. It's beautiful. So we're gonna go throw on the mono suppressor. You guys just should have this unlocked. So you can see muzzle brake ported. Doesn't even matter. We don't care about that. As long as we got the mono, that's what we care about. You see our damage at effective range right now is only 64.3 meters. So we want to increase that out as much as possible. So the mono is going to help us out with that. Barrel, we're going to be actually throwing on the what we call it, the long barrel here, just to increase our damage range out to 80.3 meters. You may say, oh, why not the gain twist? But you can see your damage at effective range is still only 64.3. So this is not the HDR where it has that infinite one-shot, range where it doesn't matter. This still does matter. So throw on the long barrel there to have more success. After that, we're going to go in here to the comb section. We're going to throw on the quick draw riser. I almost just kind of butchered the name on that, but you guys, actually, my bad. We're throwing on the commando riser. I take that back. So the commando riser here, this is gonna help you guys just be a little bit faster. Like I said, it might work a little bit better in Resurgence, but this is a very good high mobility sniper that's got a great one-shot range. I wouldn't say it like replaces the Kar 98K, but it's very, very good. So I almost feel more consistent using this as opposed to something like the Kar 98. But the Kar 98 is indeed just kind of faster, and it is that like Resurgence exclusive sniper rifle. I've had people tell me that you can use it on big map, and you can, but the bullet velocity just is not there for that. So I personally don't ever do that. After that, a couple different options in here, but what you should be going for after that is going to be for the stock pad. We're gonna go through on the lightweight pad. This is gonna help us with our aiming idle sway. Obviously, you guys know what aiming idle sway is, and if you don't, it's just when you're aiming down sights, and obviously your gun likes to move, around. This helps you minimize that, and so we don't have to do that. So the lightweight pad right there is really, really quite helpful. Lastly, we're gonna go to the fire mods for our final attachment, and we're gonna throw on the over pressured rounds to increase our bullet velocity. Gets us out to 1,214 meters a second. You can see our damage at effective range, 80.3 meters. Really nice, great setup overall. Truly effective at long distance, great mobility. So this right here is a wonderful setup. Hope you guys enjoyed today's top 5. If you guys did, give it a like, subscribe, check out this other video on screen, and I'll see you all next time.